All right. Hello. Hi. Live streamers, we see you. We're so excited that you're here. We're going to give it a minute because we know that the live stream is just going. Go ahead and share this into your chats, into your groups. Share this with your guests. And we're going to do a lot of giveaways during this live stream as well. So when you're on the live stream, if you tag a friend, that automatically enters you to win some goodies. We're going to give away some goodies. For those of you that love Rise, we're giving away Rise. We're going to give away Sync if you're in the US. We're going to give away some EMF armors. We're going to do some cool things. So if you are live, all you have to do is tag a friend and that automatically enters you. If you're in the room, you got raffle tickets. So we're going to give really cool things away as well for you guys. So we'll be doing that in and out between. Hi, Lisa. So I want to know, just really curious, how many of you are in the room just tried Rise for the first time? Put your hand up. Nice. How many of you in the room are not an affiliate yet? Put your hand up. Like how I said, yet. You're welcome. Well, we're excited. We want you to know that in the next 35, 45 minutes, which sounds long, but it's not, because we are going to really help you understand why we're calling this the Feel Good Now Revolution. This is a picture of actually when I met our incredible CEO, Barb Pitcock. I met her back in October of 2023. And I want to share a little bit about that story with you and then bring her up here because the vision of this company and where we're going, I think it's important that you hear it from our CEO. Does that sound good? Amazing. So I'm going to try to get out of the way as fast as possible with my cool jacket. So October 2023, I walk into this 6-7-figure mastermind where everyone in the room is making at least $500,000 a year or more. And I walked in there and I sat in front of this woman, Barb Pitcock. I didn't know her, but she's like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And we smiled. And she was telling me about this idea that she had or what she was doing with her company. And at the time, a mutual friend introduced us because she was looking for help with branding of the company. And so that's what I do. I help companies brand. I help people brand. And I was like, cool, yeah, I would love to. What she didn't know is that day when I walked into that room, I felt like an imposter. I walked into that room and it didn't matter how much money I was making or what was in my bank account. I was feeling lost. I was feeling broken. I was feeling sad. I was just feeling like, is this it? Is this all? Like just constant hamster wheel. Constant, right? So she didn't know that when I walked in that room. Everyone in that room just assumes that I'm good, right? Barb took the time to ask me questions. And what she didn't realize is that was a pivotal moment for me to lean in a little bit more to rising and vibing. And so fast forward, I call this the tripod. This is my friend Bryn and my friend Amber. I immediately got on the phone with them and told them I had met this incredible CEO and it just felt different. It felt like there was a mission. Last minute. And I'm like, I need you to come with me to go vet this company. Like, I need to go see where it's manufactured, what they're doing. I need to let's sit with Mark face to face while we're talking about this business. You know, see that bald guy on the back who's a millionaire. And he was there with us, and his infrastructure is a good part of why we're able to do the things that we do. So, you know, one of the most incredible decisions ever to make sure that a affiliate never goes out and pushing for the Joe Rogan product. Very good. So this is a picture of us there. But I want you to know that our company is not a little company. We're making headlines. Like we're actually getting written about, okay? $1,000 or more at our very first platinum retreat. How many of you are like, really? No, there's more. Yes, we literally had 100 people making $1,000 or more on our platform retreat. And you've seen some of the before and afters of what our products do. You would think that this is a face product. When I show you these pictures, would you say, oh my God, that's a skincare routine? Would you not think that was a skincare routine? What if I told you it wasn't a skincare routine? What if I told you it was because we have literally turned back time? We are reversing the damaged cells and DNA repair. So I'm excited for you to think a little bit more about why these products are incredible, what's the mission with our incredible visionary and CEO, Barb Pitcock. Is that jacket not hot? Like, I didn't have enough time to go to the mall, but yesterday when I got to her house, I was so excited to be somewhere
at La La Land with her dad. I guess that's what happens when you're a diamond. You go to the mall in the morning, you go to La La Land in the afternoon, then you go to Rocco's Tacos for dinner at 5. She calls her sister, what are you guys doing for dinner? We just ate dinner. We're old, she said. I'm looking at Marina like, old? I'm twice her age, right? Me and mom have a lot in common. But the thing about it is I am so excited to be here with you guys today. She said 30 or 45 minutes. We're going to take a quick lunch break. We're going to stick around, answer any questions. And then in the afternoon, any of you that are excited about the products, you make some new friends here, you like the way you feel 30 minutes after you took the rise. In the afternoon, we're going to do a deep dive into the business model, the system, the mission, where we're going with this company, and what's in it for you. So how many of you want to know what's in it for me? Everybody does, right? If there's anything that I've learned, and I've been in this industry since I was 23 years old, with my husband, and a lot of years before him, I failed at it. It was just not a pre-numpt, but I knew when I got married, I'm never doing network marketing again, and then here I am. But my husband, Dave, is a bull rider, you know, when we first got together. Blue jean kind of guy. We grew up in a town of 2 stoplights. I think there's 3 now. We have $2 Generals. We have 1 Mexican restaurant in a rundown Dairy Queen building. We have the City Cafe, about 4 bars, 5 liquor stores, and 20 churches. It's a really small town environment. I would have to drive 4 hours to find a jacket like Marina is wearing, and I don't even know if they have a Saks in Kansas City anymore. There used to be one on the plaza, but like I am a small town girl, so I want you guys to know in the afternoon we are going to talk about making money. We are going to talk about opportunity and an affiliate model that I think is better than anything that you're going to find anywhere else. But most of you came here today to learn about this product called Rise. How many of you are here because somebody said, I want you to come rise and vibe with me and I want you to feel good now? Yeah. So there are some people that drove here this morning 3 or 4 hours because they were on a trip in Europe and somebody gave them the Rise and they're like, I can't believe how we feel. We're here. We're looking at this, but I want to be honest with you, we're at rock bottom in this industry. How many of you have ever been at rock bottom? You know what's great about rock bottom? I learned this in 1996. I went to an event at the Bob Dole was running for president. You guys remember Bob Dole? Some of you are like, no. I always hear people say, isn't he the one on the Viagra commercial? I'm like, no. I mean, maybe, but and then other people will be like, he's on Visa commercial. And then I'm like, he ran for president. Like he was best friends with my husband Dave's grandma. And when we were really, really young, newlyweds, Dave was riding bulls. I was cutting hair. Then I was teaching dance at night. Bob Dole ran for president in our little town. And man, we were like, if he gets president, our ship is coming in. You know, like if you want your ship to come in, you got to be out on the dock. So we just weren't out on the dock. We were like in the water. We were like, okay, here we are. So we went on tour that year with Bob Dole. These 2 young kids, 2 babies in a car seat, a double stroller, selling t-shirts, selling buttons, selling ball caps, Bob Dole for president. And we were like, when he gets it, we got this little gift shop on Main Street. Then we're really going to be rich, right? Well, some of you guys know how that ended up. And we're not going to talk about politics or religion today, but I will tell you, there is nothing that will get your knees on the ground praying for a miracle faster than having $250,000 in debt, a truckload of Bob Dole souvenirs, credit cards maxed out, and somebody else gets president. Like, I was like, now what are we going to do? Right? But in a small town, you're not going to fail financially and stay living there. You're not going to not pay your bills. You're not going to not make things right, because integrity is everything. Where I live, there's guns. Like, if you do people wrong, you just not be there, right? And I know that's a sore subject right now. I'm not going to talk about that either, but I grew up in a town where your word was everything. Everybody knew everyone. I can't go to the grocery store and not spend 30 minutes catching up with people about, how are your kids doing? How's your mom? I saw you were in Mexico for the wedding. Oh, how is the grandbabies? Like, that's just the kind of culture I grew up in. And so when we got in the industry of direct sales, I thought everybody would be like that. I thought, well, everybody's going to be nice. Like, people would never do you wrong. If they did you wrong, then people would find out that they did you wrong, and that would not be good. But evidently, that's not the way it is everywhere. And I had to learn that the hard way. So my husband, he had never been in direct sales. He had never, ever joined a home-based business. He's an introvert, a shy, quiet guy. You know, he would like get his hand strapped on the back of a 2,000-pound bovine that wanted to kill him just for day money, but he wouldn't order his own food at McDonald's. True story. So when we first got married, Dave was so shy. McDonald's was kind of a new thing. Like, I remember when McDonald's was a new thing. We would pull up and Dave would be like, looking at me to order. So would you think that Dave Pitcock would join a direct sales company and become a millionaire? No. Like, we had a little shop, and I would cut hair out front, and I would teach dance, and Dave would stay in the back, and he would refinish antique furniture for older ladies because they wanted to preserve grandma's buffet or China hutch. So his grandma, when the Bob Dole thing didn't work out, Grandma Dumbler was like, it's okay. I'm going to teach you how to put wicker in a chair, and we'll do some antiques. And like, you just had to create opportunity. There wasn't industry. You weren't going to go to work for some big company. Dave and I couldn't go to college. We had two single moms. Both of our moms were single moms. And so it was hard work. And one day, we're robbing from Peter to pay Paul. I'm cutting hair. I'm teaching dance. I'm over here like, okay, we're going to do second position. Like, oh, yeah, I can cut your hair in the morning at 7. Tanning bed's unlocked. I'll meet you there at 6. And then my husband's calling, this baby has a fever. Okay, bring it up here in the little kangaroo, right? So I'm doing plies. I'm like, don't cry, honey. We're almost done. And then I got KPL turning off the gas. And then people are coming to get their hair done. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong with my hot water heater. It's going to get warm in a minute. And I got this old lady like, you said that last week. My head is freezing, right? Like, you guys, this was my life. For a $7 haircut, a $35 perm, and at the end of the day, the babysitter wanted $60. Anyone relate to that? So I would be like, 10 spiral perms is $350. I'm not leaving till I get 10 spiral perms. And I was missing out on, Brooklyn took a step today. You know, Chance is starting to say, mama. And everything that Dave and I said we weren't going to do, there we were doing it. Oh, we're never going to be in debt. Oh, we're never going to get a divorce. We're going to keep God first, then our family, then our business. Pretty soon I'm like, 10 perms, 350. Nana, can you pick this baby up? Like, we were cutting out Santa Clauses and turkeys so we could go set up in a park at 4 a.m, sell some country crafts. You guys remember the blue ducks, the country ducks? Oh my gosh, I'm aging myself right now, but if you can cut out a piece of plywood and paint it blue and it's a duck, every woman had one in her kitchen. The wooden welcome mats, you guys ever see the welcome mats? Those little triangles strung together, I think Dave and I invented them in the middle of Western Kansas. But at the end of the day, I was on my knees praying like, dear Lord, please bring something because I can't pay my bills. My gas is turned off. My car got repossessed. Right in front of God and everybody in our little small town. And the thing about a small town, the story gets better every time it gets told. You know, it gets better and better and better. So one day, this cowboy walked into our little country craft shop. We had an antique and gift gallery, 60 people consigning their junk, dance school upstairs, cutting hair right here, coffee bar behind the lattice that I hung to make 2 stores in one, introverted husband in the back doing antiques, and a bull rider walked in the door. And he was like, is the owner here? And I was like, yeah. So I go back in the little shop, and I said to Dave, there's a bull rider out here that wants to talk to you. And the guy was selling antique reproductions. And he said, I want to sell you these antique reproductions. You can sell them in your store. If you sell one, you'll make $250. You'll double your money. And I was selling like Yankee candles, Redken hairspray, like $10 items, you charge 20. And I was like, man, if I sell one of them, that's like selling 20 of those little fresh scents that you put in your drawer. You know how many of those you got to sell to make $1,000? 500. So I told the guy, he ain't got no money. He can't even keep his utilities on. But if you want to leave one of those here, I'll have it sold by Monday. And he did. So I rolled that curio cabinet right out on the main street with no people on it. And it was like antique reproductions, and someone sold it. And I called the guy before he even got out of town. I'm like, bring us 2 more. So all of a sudden now we're in the furniture business. And that guy, you got to be careful what you pray for. That stranger, I would have chewed him up, ate him, and spit him out if he didn't have on a bull riding jacket. He didn't even know Dave. He was a complete stranger that came off the highway. And because God sent this stranger in the door, and I said, oh yeah, the owner's in the back, and Dave and this other introverted bull rider hit it off, we got in the furniture business. And Dave went to pick up a load of furniture, and that guy took Dave to a meeting at a Marriott in Overland Park, Kansas, 4 hours from home. I was home with babies. And my husband called the proud distributor of a network marketing company. That's how this all started. And he goes, honey, we're going to get rich. And I was like, what did you join? How much did it cost? You need to get a refund, Dave. You're not going to be good at this. It's going to be brutal and ugly. Like, we can't even keep our gas on. And Dave was like, no, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So when he got home, he wrote down his dreams and goals. And I was like, don't you dare put them on the fridge. My family will die laughing at you. I did that before we got married. Dave put them right on the fridge. Pretty soon I had mine up there. Mine said, 5 kids. We had 3 and 4 years. Dave was like, get them things off the fridge. It was like everything was happening in 8-second increments. I'm not kidding you. Some of you will get that joke on the way home, but bull riding is all about 8 seconds, right? I got one guy back there. He's like, yep. Okay. Long story short, 30 years ago, my husband made more money in a direct sales company than all 5 of our businesses. And my biggest dream of my life, to be a stay-home mom, came true because of this industry. Now, I will tell you guys, if you're here and you're at rock bottom, you got to stay in the afternoon, because if there's anything that I'm good at, it's helping people make money. I can go a million different directions and have a hard time keeping a train of thought. So I just drank my Rise. It's going to get better throughout the day. It kicks in about 30 minutes. But I'm going to try to stay on track, because what we're going to talk about today is not the 30 years prior to Frequence. It's how did Frequence come to be? Why am I in Florida today on a Saturday? And what is in it for you? Because I never dreamt that I would be the CEO of a company, ever. And especially I never dreamt that I would lead with a product. Because the first 25 years, my story was bankrupt beautician, married a bull rider, made millions of dollars. If I can do it, she can do it, he can do it, you can do it. Wouldn't you like to be a millionaire too? Like, that's all I talked about was money. Let's make money. Let's get you out of debt. Let's help the single mom. Let's pay for ballet lessons. And I mean, I made a lot of money, but I got to tell you guys, I've had a lot of money and felt really empty. Because when you lose everything and you have a lot of money, there's some things money won't fix. And I had to learn that the hard way a couple of times. So fast forward to 2001, we're 5 years into that company. We're in our 20s. We're moving into the dream home. We got the infinity out front, a 40-foot deck liner boat, the white vinyl fence. You guys remember when only rich people had white vinyl fence? I mean, in a small town, a white vinyl fence is a big thing. So I got a whole bunch of it, so everybody knew how successful I was, right? But that was such an empty feeling, because I was so young in my career, my maturity hadn't caught up yet to realize that status is when you spend money you don't have to impress all the people you don't like so you can show them. And then you have all the debt and they never cared anyway. Any of you have a sad case of status? Like, that was me. Oh, I'm going to show them. I was telling Marina yesterday, I remember my neighbor lady that was my biggest naysayer, and I was just convinced I was going to make her eat her words. I think I got rich in spite of her, because in a small town, I was like, there is no way I'm failing now. She said it, she's not going to be right. Thank God I had naysayers. But in 2001, I guess you would call it, here we were at the top of our game. We had 3 kids, moving into our dream home, driving the nice car, all the stuff. Now, some of you don't know, part of the reason I think I grew up with a single mom is my dad had a lot of trauma. And I used to hate my dad. I used to think he was the most horrible person. I had an upbringing where there wasn't a lot of love, pretty tough love, to not get into it. A lot of not being loyal, a lot of seeing a person, why you would feel less than, ugly, no self-confidence, redhead, freckle face. Like, I just figured no one's ever gonna love me, right? But what I didn't understand is there was nothing wrong with my dad, it's what happened to my dad. So when I was 5, my dad lost his only blood brother to suicide. And last week was Suicide Awareness Day. This company is not a suicide awareness company, but we're very aware that mental health has a lot to do with the reason why people with a temporary situation make a permanent decision. And a lot of you love people that are 2 days away from making that decision. Every day is a miracle that they keep breathing because they're suffering in silence. So my dad's younger brother, only brother, came back from Vietnam, was an addict. I was 5 or 6, nobody talked about it. I just remember the day he left. And I remember losing not just him, but I lost my dad. He was never the same. I didn't know that until probably 5 years ago because I didn't understand trauma. Fast forward to 2001, here we are at the top of our game. We're on stages, we're making our own audio cassettes, we're on videos. I mean, I just couldn't believe it, that it could happen for Dave and I. And his only brother was fighting a battle, mental health, addiction. And that year, his brother took his life. And I'll tell you guys something. My husband hated money, people, God, network marketing. Like, that guilt and that just feeling was something I thought he would never recover from. But when he did, our story changed. And it was no longer about making money and getting rich. It was time. So 2001 until about 4 years ago, it was just time with the people that you love. So I was in the business of giving people hope. I would find a way that you could have more time with your kids, your grandkids, your husband, your mother, your brother. And that was our story. I wrote a book called No Guts, No Story. Dave wrote a book called The Thinking Cure because he really studied frequency and feelings and emotion and how you could take any bad thing that happened to you and you could turn it around, find the good, learn the lesson, and move on. Or you could stay stuck and you would never feel good again. So Feel Good Now is something that we've been saying since 1996. Feel Good Now was on a business card, it was on the visor, it was on the toilet. Because if you can change a thought and you can change your state, you can change your life. The thing is, most people keep carrying it, keep talking about it, keep reliving it, keep trying to figure it out. Some things you're never going to figure out. Bad things happen to good people. How many of you have had bad things happen to you, but you're good people? How many of you love someone that's going through something horrible? It doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem fair. What about everything in the world right now? Who's ever going to be able to explain that and make it make sense? Some things don't make sense. But you and I have one choice: how we're going to feel today. The emotions we're going to carry, the lessons we're going to learn, the love we're going to give, the way we're going to move forward. And so that's what we did. We just would teach people, if you have a dream and a burning desire and we find a vehicle, we can take you from where you're at to where you want to be. And the faster we can do it, the more quality of life you're going to have. So here I was, this peddler of hope, changing people's lives, people making money, going on trips, getting free cruises, free cars, all the things. And what nobody knew, I raised my kids in a pretty good home. I was a stay-home mom. I did everything right. They went to college. They were D1 athletes. They were top 10 in their class. But my oldest daughter was fighting a battle with opiate addiction. And in the beginning, you don't want to tell anyone. And then you're like, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to control it. I'm going to cure it. I'm going to change it. And I wanted to blame everyone else It couldn't be her fault. It has to be the bad person that gave it to her. It has to be the bad boyfriend. It has to be the dealer. It has to. So I was carrying around so much resentment, so much worry. Can you guys imagine? I never slept. My hair was falling out. I was 40 pounds heavier if you look at the pictures. My relationship was always at the mercy of everything else that was going on. And you know what most of you don't understand? This is 1 in 4 people that you love right now. Yesterday morning, I signed a contract in Tampa for our convention, and the lady walking me around was a little bit reserved. And Patty had me go to meet her because Patty's like, I'm trying to work with her, but I don't know if this is going to work out. And about halfway through the tour, the lady looked at me and said, do you have any of your product with you? I told her the story of my daughter. She said, I have a 23-year-old that I can't get her to get up out of bed, and I don't know what happens when I leave, but every day I worry that she's not going to be okay when I get home. And she's running the hotel convention centers. And so people are fighting this battle silently, and this is not a company about addiction and recovery either. My sister's like, so if I'm not an addict and my kids aren't, and I'm not depressed, what do you got for me? I'm like, everything. Because one thing we all have in common is a brain and a gut. And it doesn't matter whether your trauma is finance or children or addiction or grief or maybe something that happened 20 years ago that you're carrying around. Those feelings and emotions change the frequency of your body. And people don't understand stress is the silent killer. And one day everything's great. And October 1st of 2022, everything was great. We're at the top of our game. We're getting so much residual income. We're buying houses and Airbnbs and a med spa, and I'm having grandbabies. And the next thing I know, my mother-in-law calls and says, I need you and Dave to come over. I got some test results that are a little off. It was her 3rd battle with this horrible disease. And I will just tell you, without making any health claim, in 45 days, she was gone. And there was nothing I could do to even get ahead of it. And it was that day I was like, stress is the silent killer, and I'm eliminating stress out of my life. I'm not going to be this stressed anymore. And I was literally doing everything I could for my health, for my mental. I was reading the books. I was going to church. I was doing all the right things. And I just decided I was going to step away from a company that was bringing me a lot of not in alignment and a lot of stress. Robin knew me. My hair was falling out. I had blisters all over my body, even in my hair. I was trying to do this BEST coaching, Barb's Everyday Success Tips. So I'm showing up. I'm like, even if I quit the industry of direct sales, I got to keep loving on my people. I showed up every day for 30 minutes, and there was like a $35 thing that you paid to be in it. And like, what was $35 going to do? I was used to making millions of dollars a year, but I had to somehow stay attached to these people that I loved. But deep inside, I had even lost my hope in the industry. There wasn't a company that I would tell you to go join, because this is what I thought. All people are bad. All people are greedy. They're all going to change the rules. They're all in it for themselves. People are mean. I had all these beliefs about people, and I was like, I keep expecting me and other people, and in what you expect is what creates your disappointment. And I was like, I'm just going to go do my own thing. I'll buy a bunch of Airbnbs. I'll invest in a med spa, and me and my husband will sit on the lake, and we won't see people. Have any of you guys ever thought that? I'm just going to go on a sabbatical. When I run away, they're going to wonder where I went, right? So we flew to Mexico to a wedding. We had just walked away from a huge income. We were like, we're going to have enough for a few months. We had this med spa going, and we had all these Airbnbs popping. And it was fun. I mean, buy an ugly house, fix it up, make $100,000. I was like, why wouldn't you just do that? You don't have to get your heart broken. Nobody's going to take advantage of you. And I was praying, like, God, show me what to do. Because no matter if I flipped a house and took $100,000 in profit to the bank or not, I felt so empty. I couldn't wait to get on that coaching call. Be like, hey, Robin. Hi, Melinda. Hi, Becca. Here's your success tip of the day. And I was looking at Dave like, there's a lot of ways to make money, but I was born to do that. Like, that's my sport. So even if I don't make money at it, I got to keep doing my sport because I love helping people. So here we were in Mexico. I'll speed this story up. Beautiful wedding. I even became a preacher. That way I could do weddings, right? I'm like, well, if I can't do network marketing and trust people, I'll be a preacher because all good people will be there, right? So we're on the beach. Robin's like, no, there's bad people in church too. I can't believe that. So we turn our phones off for the wedding. We come out of this beautiful resort, and I look down at my phone. There's 52 messages. There's missed phone calls, like 4 from each sister. And I hit the voicemail, and they're screaming. She's gone. She's dead. She's in an ambulance. She's blue. She overdosed. Oh my gosh, I can't believe she did this to you. You know, my family's just freaking out. And I hit the phone call, and they're just screaming by the ambulance. And I can hear one of the boys that was one of Brooklyn's friends saying, just face it, she's gone. And at that moment, I remember like everything stopped. Like, have you guys ever been to that point where you're like, and I'm not trying to get preachy on you, but this is just my story. Like, God, if you will save her, I will do this. Have you ever bargained with him? So help me, God, if you just get me out of this, I will never do this again. If you'll do that. And this was me on my knees, completely helpless. And it's crazy because I had been on the phone with a lot of people, like Marina's mom, who had always told me what to do. Everybody's got good advice because they think this is what you should do as a mom, right? Tough love, fire him, kick him out, take him to treatment, get him in church, got to have a better boyfriend. I tried it all. But it's a disease. And there was nothing I could do except surrender it. And during that time, everything stopped, and there was no way I was going to start a company. I had thought about it. We even had the trace minerals lined up. If we could just get minerals in and toxins out, nobody would ever get sick like Nana Cindy. That was my belief. How did she get so sick so fast? Well, if we could get the toxins out, we could get the minerals in, we could help her. That stupid thing wouldn't be able to grow in an alkaline environment. So immediately I'm like, I'm never going to have that pain for my kids. I'll just keep my body alkaline. I'll just get those toxins out every day. I'll fill myself up with minerals. I'll live to be 100, right? I really thought I was going to start a company with alkaline mineral drops by itself, and I think we could have. But I never dreamt of Rise until I came home. My daughter lived, got her in a car, took her to the lake. I was like, I'm going to lock her up in this lake house. We're going to go to church 3 times a week. I got the nurse bringing some IVs. There's a little treatment center right over in Tulsa. I'll get her in some good meetings, and this is going to be great. And it was a nightmare for 9 months. In fact, when I met Marina's mom on the phone, I was as sick as Brooklyn was. Any of you relate? Any of you love someone that struggles with their mental health? Any of you have a parent that you're a caregiver for and you're watching their memory slip? This is not just for addicts and mental illness. We all have a brain and a gut. Equally important, right? This is your second brain. Everyone has an unhealthy brain right now. Everyone has an unhealthy gut because what we're exposed to. These young kids don't want to be anxious. They're just walking around programmed by their phones. These newlyweds don't want to be in whatever situation they're in. They're just tempted every time they look at their phone. People don't want to be in debt and have their credit cards maxed. They're just taken over by their phone. Any of you feel terrible last week every time you look down at your phone? Because we're being programmed by everything that's happening on the phone. And what kind of an emotion is that? It's a low vibration. So here was Brooklyn, shame, guilt, abuse, sadness, fear, abandonment, all the things that she was feeling. It didn't matter what supplement I gave her or what service I took her to, nothing changed the way that she would feel. And one day I called our formulator in Texas and I said, Joe, you don't know me very well because I was never the product guru in our previous dealings, but I need help. And my daughter can't feel good and neither can I. And I cry every day and I want to beat her. And she wants to run away every day and go find what made her feel better. And he goes, it's dopamine in the brain. It's serotonin. It's oxytocin. He starts saying all these names. And I was like, okay, well, what would you do? And he did say, well, we did a product for Joe Rogan, but that was 7 years ago. There's a lot since then. And I was like, I've never ate a mushroom. Am I going to be high? Because I've never been high. And he said, no, there's no euphoria, but I really believe the combination of the right mushrooms and methylated B is all over in the news. It helps people's brain health. So even my elderly parents or grandparents or people that I love who say, I have brain fog. It's slipping a little bit. I don't feel like I used to. I feel a little off. Any of you feel a little off since 2020? Yeah, how do you get back to how you felt good? So he sends me these products, and I'm expecting it to taste like dirt or a plant. The Source Minerals has 0 taste. Literally alkalizes a bottle of water so you don't have to spend $10 on alkaline water. Has all the minerals from the Rocky Mountains. Nothing else in it, just minerals. It's alkalinity drops. It's a detox, so it's going to take all the heavy metals and plastics out. We have a lot of pets. We have a farm. I suggest don't look in the toilet when you first start using it. Just don't look. Because it does get parasites out of your body. Now you're all going to be looking at your poop when you get home today. I can see it now. Be sending pictures to each other like, oh my God. No, it's a testimony for real because everybody wants that. Just, I've never done it, but a lot of people have posted pictures. Because you need to get the bad stuff out and the good stuff in. That went way from emotional to funny right away, didn't it? Long story short, when Brooklyn first took the product, she goes, Mom, I feel like I might not need to take a blank. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to go down the road of like prescription drugs and what you should take and what you shouldn't. But people become dependent on certain substances because of the way it makes them feel. What does everybody want? They want to feel good. Anybody want to feel bad? No. Anybody sick and tired of feeling bad? So we started out with just Rise and Source. And that's when I met Marina. And I'll tell you guys, we went live on a November 24th, Black Friday, from our kitchen. My kids grew up in the industry under these tables, watching me do these meetings before internet, before Facebook, before cell phones. They saw the sacrifice, not just once, but twice. Build an empire only to have somebody tear it apart, change the rules, different integrity, product switch up, comp plan goes away. And they, honestly, Callie was like, screw that, I'm going to college. I'm gonna be a 4.0 student, I'm gonna be a doctor, I'm gonna make more money than those network marketers, and I'm never doing what you do. And I was like, knock yourself out. You'll be the first one in our family. And she was like, I'm doing it. So she graduated K-State, she got into med school, she was 4.0, she was gonna show us. And then she saw her brother as an entrepreneur making more money, and he had always been one of my top leaders, than her roommate's dad that was a baby doctor. And then she went to her internship and she's like, they're on call. They got to dress a certain way. Like, I can't wear my favorite shoes. I got to work weekends, be on call, leave my kids. You got to have all this insurance. So one day, right before the big breakthrough at KU Med, she's like, I'm going to move to Tulsa. And we were like, what's in Tulsa? A boy. And she opened a business like her brother, and she decided she was going to be an entrepreneur. And 365 days later, when she could only leave to watch his ball games if she put a sign on the door on a Sunday, she goes, this entrepreneur thing is hard. Like, maybe I should have went to med school. And then Dave and I said, we might start something new. We might solve every headache in the industry of direct sales. We might check every single box, pay on the real dollar. We might have a product that's changing people's lives. We're going to start a movement and a mission. And someday when we die, we're going to leave all of our money to this legacy mission. And we're going to have all of these people that we've impacted. And Kelly was like, well, don't do it like the people did it where you were. If you're going to do it a different way, I think I would like to help. And you guys, that Black Friday at the Kitchen Island, if you go look it up, I hope it doesn't ever get deleted. We should go save it. November 22nd or 24th, 2023, 2 years ago, 2022, 23. Here we went live, and we had this idea, and we had 12 friends that had drank Rise. Everybody felt great. I had a headache from where, because I was the sickest of all. Talk about detox. I needed like my whole body redone. I had so much trauma, so much grief, so much stress, so much bad Diet Coke, sugar, carbohydrates, and I was the only one that didn't feel good. But when I started to feel good, I felt better than I had ever felt. And those 12 turned into 33,000 customers. We did not have a subscription program. We didn't have a back office. We didn't have a commission engine. We had a one-level affiliate. If you tell a friend we're going to pay you 20% on the real dollar, no hoops to jump through, no back-end deals. We're not paying a bunch of big leaders to come. We're not doing all the shady stuff. You don't have to have 3 that get 2, that get 1, that get 4, or you don't get paid. You don't have to put your dead dog or your brother in just to get your bonus check. Like, nothing against dead dogs. I have 9 of them. But I'm just saying we were going to solve all the headaches. And all of a sudden, 33,000 people were rising and vibing. So when I go to meet Marina, I'm like, well, I'm not a social influencer. I'm old school. I had to get in my car, wear 3 cars out, have 2 babysitters, pay 14 toll booths, and drag all my tapes to set up a room like this just to get somebody to buy a product. Like, it was hard work. Not saying that any of you aren't leaders, but if you want to know what makes a leader, drive 4 hours one way, set up a room like this, pay the bill, get the babysitter, and have nobody come. Because that was my life the first 25 years. I was literally blood, sweat, and tears. And when you work that hard, you don't need a CEO changing the rules on you just when you think you finally got freedom. And that's where my passion comes from as a CEO. These are people's livelihood, their children, ballet lessons, car payments, taking care of mom and grandma, groceries, college tuition, football cleats. It's not just a little side business, it's their livelihood. And so when 33,000 customers got excited, we were like, okay. To be honest with you guys, during the time that I was getting my daughter well, and that's a lifelong journey. She's doing, praise God, she lives with us now. She's doing amazing. She feels better. She's getting out of her comfort zone. Like, it didn't happen overnight, and it's not perfect overnight, but she's alive. And the mission that we're creating to help other families that are going through what we went through is just on the drawing board. Like, it's going to take millions of dollars to do what I want to do, because I want it to be free. When there's a mom that needs their daughter to get help, I want to be able to call someone like Ann did for me. I called Ann sitting in my son's Simple Pure store, crying my eyes out. And I said, I know she needs to do some time in jail, but I can't do it because I'm her mom. I know she needs to face the music for the missed probation meetings. I know she needs help. I can't do it. And I remember Ann saying, if you knew what I went through with my daughters, there's going to be a day that you're going to be thanking the Lord. You need to surrender it. You need to say a prayer, and you need to let go and let God. The first meeting that I went to do for Marina in Nashville, Tennessee, I was on an airplane flying to meet a top leader that had made more money than anybody I'd ever met, a social seller, something I had never been. She had 20 people coming to a mansion in Nashville, and Jenna Tomer had just joined and had 12 people coming to a hotel before I got to the retreat. So I was doing one group meeting at a hotel and headed to a retreat. Dave was right next to me. We were on the way. We got a phone call from Brooklyn. She said, today's the day. I'm going to go do my 6 months in jail. They're at the door. I looked at Dave. I said, I'm not going to do a meeting for Marina Simone. And Dave said, you are going to do a meeting for Marina Simone. You need to let go and let God, and Brooklyn's going to be okay. So I got my happy little butt on an airplane, couldn't even drag my suitcases, and I sat down. And you guys, if you want to know how God works, there was a man sitting next to me. I called my friend Max that lives here in West Palm Beach. She's not here today, but she was my prayer warrior. And I said, I need help. I need strength. I'm going to meet Marina for the first time. I was crying in a phone with a stranger next to me with his shades on. And when I hung up the phone, he reached over and grabbed my hand. He said, honey, I couldn't help but hear your story. I owned the Rolling Stone magazine for many years, sold it for like $60-some million. He said, my wife isn't home with our children, and she has to blow in a breathalyzer just to take them to school. And sometimes they call me crying and say, we can't wake mommy up. But he said, I admire your strength that you wouldn't cancel and that you would keep your commitment to go do this meeting. He said, you're going to meet some amazing people in Nashville. And his phone rang, and it was Post Malone and Morgan Wallen. He was their agent. He still texts me every week saying, one of these days we're going to work together with your mental health movement. Let me know when you get it going. And you guys, I'm going to tell you, this little Kansas girl is not a person that you would think could be a multimillionaire, a CEO of a company, or start a rise revolution that would put this many people in a room in West Palm Beach. I'm not a West Palm Beach girl. I am a small town girl with so big of dreams. But when I got to Nashville to that retreat with Marina, it was like I was in a fog. Like, I don't even remember how I got there that day, but there was all these people that were saying, thank you for starting this company. Thank you for bringing this product. Sal Giglio was there. He said, I'm a recovering addict. Lost his sister in a fire because of drugs. There was a lady there who was battling a battle no one else knew. Coach Brian stayed till 9:30 in the kitchen. He goes, I'm not one of those girls. I'm not a social seller, but let me tell you about Coach. I'm going to build the biggest company you've ever seen, and you're going to come to New York City. And I was like, okay. Nobody knew. I cried the whole way to the meeting. I remember I was standing in the lobby, and I was so shook up, I left my credit card in the little thing when I ordered pizza to run to my room and hide. I told my husband, I have to go put some makeup on. There's all these people in the lobby. I can see them taking pictures of me. And he said, just be honest. And you guys, that night in that room with all the skeptics sitting in Nashville, Tennessee, the night before I went to Marina's retreat, there was a lady in the back of the room, and she goes, I see all the money. I see all about your products. And Marina's going to share with you how to make money and what these products can do for you. I'm going to bring her up in a minute. She goes, but I just want to know one question. Is God a part of this business? And you guys, that was the wrong day to ask me if God was a part of this business. I got off that stage. I walked out into the seats. I turned that seat around and I sat down on it just like a bull rider would sit. And I said, ma'am, if it wasn't for God, I would not be here with you today. What is your question? Like, what do you want me to do? And honestly, you guys, I've just gotten out of the way of every leader in this company and just let God take the reins. I am not the person that you would think would be the CEO of this company. I'm never going to act like the person that you would think runs a multi-billion-dollar company, because I'm never going to have an ego. I'm never going to try to make it so confusing that you got to go take 3 classes to figure it out. I'm not going to change everything just because a bunch of leaders see what somebody else is doing. We're going to be rising and vibing and reversing until we're a billion-dollar company. And we're not going to change the message. We're not going to change the comp plan. We're not going to change the mission. But the fact that Marina Simone said, I want to join your team. You guys, I was sitting there in Las Vegas, so broken, grieving, praying. In my entire 30 years of connections, most of them was joining travel and makeup and weight loss. And I was just watching them all leave. I couldn't blame them. Robin was watching it too. I couldn't blame them. And not only were they leaving, they had to blame me because, you know, their income was going down and the industry was changing. And I didn't care about anything except getting my daughter well and praying with discernment that I would never make the wrong decision again. And I thank God every day for this formula. It's exclusive to us. We own the formula. I took Brooklyn on my birthday that year to a little shop down in Arkansas. They put some frequency on the back of her neck. We spent $5,000 on jewelry that day. When your daughter's sick, you don't care what it costs. You're like, if you think it'll help, give me one of everything. They put it on her back of her neck, just a little sample, and she was like, Mom, I feel so different. Like, I feel different. She immediately went to the car. It was like the detox was just happening. So much was wrong in her body, so much damage. And that was the day we figured we're going to find a way to put these frequencies on these products. 11 harmonic frequencies touching the 8 major organs in your body. Some of our newer products are going to have up to 200. We're never going to confuse that message. 11 is enough. 200 is a turbocharge, right? You got to keep the message so simple. And that's what I love about Marina. When we sat down together, she was like, we're rising and vibing. We're rising and vibing. The whole world's going to be rising and vibing. And we're not going to ever stop rising and vibing because everybody wants to feel good now. Everyone has a brain and a gut that's not healthy. Most everyone I know is dealing with trauma that they don't even know is making them sick. And we pay on the real dollar. What else is there to know? There's 2 things. You're going to either want to be a customer and feel good now and help everybody you love feel good now, or you're going to want to be a customer that refers people so you can get your products free, or you're going to want to be an affiliate so you're the first one in, the only frequency charged nutrition company in the world, so that you can take this message with us and change people's lives, make impact, and make more money than you've ever made in your life. That's how simple it is. So you can make a little bit if you want to share it with a few friends, or you can be like Marina and make a lot. It's unbelievable the money that is being paid out in this compensation plan, and it makes me feel good because we don't have to be a high-paid CEO. I started just like you did, a field first leader. We don't have any high-paid CEOs. We don't have anybody that invested. We don't have to pay anybody some big royalty because we built this thing from the ground up. It's a family-owned business, and it's debt-free, and it'll always be debt-free, or we won't add it. You know, that's the other thing. And I just want you guys to know, from me to you, when you meet my kids, you'll know they've sacrificed so much over the last 30 years. They protect this like it's their own. Each of us bring our own strengths. And for me, I just love to go out into rooms like this and love on people. I'm good at this because I do love people, and I want you to win, and I want to help you get your goals and dreams. There's a lot of things Marina will tell you I'm not very good at. They don't even let me log into the back office. I would run everybody's subscription. They don't let me put details. I misspell every other post I make. I really need someone else to spell check. But I know what I'm good at, and it's this. Because I was you, didn't even want to go to a meeting. I know what makes people tick. They want to feel loved. They want to feel valued. They want to feel heard. They don't want to be judged. They want to be included. And at the end of the day, if you're going to build this company, you want to get paid. And if you feel good and you're making money and you have time to do what you want, when you want, with the people you love, wherever you want, I think we're going to have a really long relationship. And that's the foundation of Frequence. So thank you guys so much. So the product line is amazing. I'm going to bring Marina Simone up to go a little bit of paid. Rise and Source was the very first product, and then the reverse. They launched that in February, and my goodness, look at the before and afters. Patented ingredients, the AC11, the clinical studies. Nobody else has that except for us, and it is literally the turbocharge of those three in the trifecta. Let's bring up this beautiful woman, Blue Diamond Marina Simone.
I love it.
Thanks for music to bring it up to.
No, I'm just kidding. No, you guys, Barb, right? No one can tell a story better than Barb. Just so you guys know, like, she has taught me so much, and I'm so grateful because when she says there's no ego, there's no ego, and that was a really big deal. Can I nerd out with you guys for a minute though? So I needed to understand, like,
Where was this frequency thing going to go, and could I make money in it for a long time? Any of you have businesses outside of network marketing? Okay, so you know that when you have a business, you need to know, where are the trends going? Where's the saturated market? Where's the non-saturated market? You know, if we could tell what stock was going to do what Bitcoin was going to do, what all those things were going to do beforehand, wouldn't that be awesome to know what was going to happen? So I'm a nerd. And so I needed to know numbers. And what I needed to know is with frequency, we already know the mental health movement, big. How is frequency going to play on that? How could we leave with this feel good now revolution? And what we found is that we had a brand new lane. Most companies that you see in direct selling are saturated in weight loss. They're saturated in skincare, in makeup. So it's like, why is your makeup better than mine? If I lose weight and I eat McDonald's, is it going to come back? You know, like all of those things. We don't have that. We have a brand new lane and pioneering a category with frequency charged nutrition. And I'm going to prove it, okay? The body, mind, energy healing industry could reach the low mid trillions in the mid 2040s. Right now it's at 78.6 billion. That means that we're going to go into the trillions in 2040. Do you see the gap of opportunity there? Okay, I'm not saying the weight loss industry, the makeup industry. I'm saying right now we have people driving demand into the 2040s because there's this heightened awareness. Last time when we were at Rocco's Tacos, we met this woman who was a waitress. And I asked her what she was doing today.
She had to work a double. So I'm sending her the replay. We asked her, what do you do besides the waitress? And she said, I do sound healing, soundboard healing. Frequency is already 26 years old. I think that this is another thing I had
Or do you just have older people in your company? We have a 26-year-old who's learning about frequencies. It's literally growing the market, right? So we're driving demand already. We know holistic therapy is no brainer. Doctors are switching to holistic therapies and increasing frequency in their offices. So that's why we know that this works. So here's what I need you to understand. We did a lot of things so you didn't have to. You're very website. You need an automatic follow-up system. We have 5-day experience packs where 80% of people that try it for 5 days turn into a subscription customer. Hear what I just said. 80% of people that try Rise are turning into subscription customers. How many of you are ever 80% of those are going to become your subscribe and save customers, and you get paid 30% of those. Sound good? We plug and play. The comp plan is my favorite thing on the planet because I got to be a part of it when they were putting it together. We didn't have a back office. We didn't have any of those things. Legit, nothing. When I came in, I didn't know who was in my downline. I had no idea who was signing up. I just trusted. And I said, Barb, I trust you. I trust Frequence. The second they turned that on, we had put 5,000 people into our organization in 30 days. We didn't have a slide deck. We didn't have this cool looking thing. We had the Rise in baggies. Yes, we had the Rise in baggies because we didn't have these pretty sticks yet. And we had people trying them and then coming back to my house and asking me if they could take one of my tubs. And I'm like, no, here's a link. You're not taking my only Rise. But what did that mean? And that people were feeling good within 30 minutes and they were ready to start using the product because they didn't want to feel bad. So our comp plan, you can build your residual income in 30 days. We teach you how to do it with our 5-day experience method. Here's what you need to know. Anytime you sell a product or you bring somebody in to the business, you get paid 20%. Even if you don't buy any product that month. Hear what I just said. You are not forced to run a subscription in this company so you can get paid on who you refer. That's not done anywhere else. I know this because I've compared at least 15 to 20 compensation plans to ours. If you want that PDF, I can get that for you, okay? Overrides, leadership bonuses, and our customer retention is insane. We have people that stop taking it because they think they need to save money, and they come back and they're like, I shut off 25 subscriptions and I won't watch TV because I can't live without my Rise. True, okay? But here's what I want you to know. We are not a company that is going to hype you up. We're not going to hype you up over 50% commissions. And then when you get your check, it's less than 6%. We tell you exactly what the compensation plan is going to pay you. It is transparent. And I think that's important because I got sucked into a company before and they told me, I was sitting with the general manager of a company 7 years ago who sat me down and told me I was going to get paid this much based on my volume. And when my check came, I was already locked in. My whole team had already gone over there, and it wasn't true. The 10% turned into 4.2. Yeah. So I've made these slides after a year of being in Frequence, comparing my check to every other compensation plan in this industry. That's what I want you to understand. This is where these stats come from. It's not coming from what could happen for you. It's coming from what is happening for me right now. Okay? So we literally have a 90% retention rate, all that good stuff. But here's the biggest place. This is my favorite place. How many of you have been in a direct sales company before? Hands up. Most of the room. Got it. How many of you missed out on a bonus because you didn't have something called balance? Put your hand up. Uh-huh. How many of you didn't have enough sales, like 1,000 in sales or 500 in sales, so you missed out on a bonus? How many of you are really good at getting customers, but you couldn't build a team? So because you didn't have people at certain ranks, you weren't able to get paid and you missed out on bonuses. Yeah. That was something that they eliminated here at Frequence immediately. They said, you can literally go to the top on just all customers. You literally can get to the top on all customers. Now, in my last company, there was a couple and they were missing out on $30,000 in bonuses just because they had 400,000 in personal sales, but nobody on their team. That's robbing. That is theft. That is horrible. That is loose ends and holes in compensation plans. And when I tell you we don't have that here, we don't have that here. We are clear. Your qualifications are simple. It's a 40, 60, 60, 40. You need 2 legs here. If you want to max the comp plan, Barb, plug your ears. If you want to max the comp plan so Barb has to pay you more money, you're going to build 5. And not because you have to, because you're going to max the comp plan out. You're going to build 5. That means 5 people rising and vibing with you, and they help their people rise and vibe. I'm going to skip that really quick. The residual part. I want to show you how simple this is and how we simplify this message. We want to help people get to $15,000 a year residually as quickly as possible. But I'm going to show you how you can do that in 12 months. Okay? What if it was as simple as you helping 5 new people rise and vibe every month? That's what this looks like. Every month, you helping 5 new people rise and vibe. They get on subscription. You're looking at an extra $15,000 a year. How many of you know exactly what you would do with that $15,000 extra a year? Some of you are like, I'd go on vacation for the first time. Don't say debt. I want you to think bigger than that. And Barb's going to help you think bigger. What would you do with that? Think about that for a second. How many people are going to need that for insurance reasons coming up? There's so many things, right? So this is how we keep it simple. You don't need a team. I just went over that really quick, but this is where your legacy starts. So if all you had to do was help 5 new people rise and vibe every single month, and we showed you how to do that with our 5-day experience method, which are those sticks. You guys saw the sticks in the back? Okay, so watch this. When you enroll, you're going to get either 12 of those 5-day experiences, or you can get more. You charge $35 for 5 of those sticks, and then your package, your affiliate package, ends up being free. Okay, 12 of those people that purchase the 5-day experiences from you, what did I say? 80% are going to subscribe and save. So now you have profit on top of that. We are teaching you not how to stockpile product. We don't want you buying a bunch of product and selling it yourself. We teach you how to get your return on investment from day one. We teach you how to hit your first 1K month residually and how to do it again and again and again. We teach you how to tell your story. We created a really cool AI bot who literally tells you everything you need to know when it comes to prospecting, when it comes to following up. So for some of you that are really nervous and you're like, I don't know what to say, we've got that for you. We literally took away all the things that could hold you back from getting into profit on day one. The 5-day experiences is a massive part. And I'm going to talk about the gold package really quick. The gold package, when you see the different packages to get ready, this is going to give you the rise, 30 days worth of rise. It's going to give you the source, which is the minerals that Barb was talking about. It's going to give you 12 5-day experiences, and you're going to get the face, And you're going to get something called an anti-wrinkle straw. So you don't go like this. So you go like this. My daughter actually said anti-wrinkle. She was the one that came out with it, but it's charged with frequencies. So think about that. You're going to have your first 30 days worth of product, and you're going to put yourself into profit with the gold pack. Okay. Now, how do you duplicate that? We're going to talk about that after. We're going to talk about how you can go gold, how you can unlock the compensation plan residually, how you can go diamond and get paid infinite levels of generations of diamonds in your organization. Some of you are brand new. You don't need to know any of those things right now because you're just affiliate here, but I'm going to teach you how to get to that point. And it all starts with helping someone get to 1,000 a month. So this is what we look like, how to get to 1,000 a month. For those of you that want it, take a picture of this. This is what we're going to teach you how to do. 10 customers, 5 people that are affiliates. Right here. This is what we're looking at. Why did I do this slide? Because this, I can tell you exactly what you need to do to get to that income. That's how transparent we are. Most companies can't do that. They give you an average income earnings. That's got like from 0 to 100. And there's like somewhere in the weird middle. We don't do that here. We can tell you, you tell me how much you want to make. I'll tell you exactly how to build it. And then we can show you the phase 1 plan of how to get to 10K months. 10K months. We help 3 people. We help launch your 5-day challenge with your team where you do 5-day experiences. And we help you get to your estimated income of $1,500 to $3,000 a month. And then we show you how to get into momentum. Here's the thing. This Feel Good Now movement, this revolution that we're doing, we're urgent right now. We have urgency in us. In the 2040s, it's going to be in the trillions. So right now, we have this tour that we're doing all over the US to get in front of as many people as we can in person. Just to give you guys an idea, we have just on our team alone, we have over 30,000 people that are rising and vibing. Think about that for a second. We're just now launching in global markets. Sweden, Poland, Mexico, Canada, United States, Australia, New Zealand, and we have more that are coming, more countries. Can you imagine what happens when we just keep opening more countries? It's going to be insane. And we'll teach you leadership. Here's one thing I will tell you. I didn't share my story, but I was also the one driving 4.5 hours in my car, showing up back in 2012 when I first got started in network marketing and nobody was in the room. I was actually taking naps on the side of the turnpike because I was so tired to be waking up so early to get to like 4 hours away and set up, and then no one showed up, and I'd come back and I would tell my husband, nobody wants to do this with me. I had no network. No network. But now with social media, people are looking for their people. They're looking for their communities. They are looking for people that want to be a part of something. They're looking for mission. They're looking for change. And every single one of you has social media. Do you not? Who has social media here? I will teach you how to not be a spammy Tammy. I will teach you how to have real conversations with people and ask them, how do you feel and how can I help? We're truly here to serve with this movement. And take a picture of this because this is a live example of 10K a month. I should have not done blue, but that's okay. So with that being said, before you make a decision today, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get all of your questions answered. Come up to us if you are a guest. Ask us what you need to know. Why does this happen? How can I make money? What does it take to get started? All of those things, because I will tell you this, it took Barb and I having conversations to connect and for me to be all in. And we're looking for those that want to be all in and spread this like wildfire. So you're either going to become a customer today. If you haven't tried their eyes, try it. The person that invited you to this event has a link for you. So if you're in the room, the person that invited you has a link for you. get with us for questions. And if you're on the live stream, the person that tagged you has a link for you as well. So let's have some fun and let's build this thing into $1 billion company, because that's where we're going. Thanks, guys. Oh, and the lunch. They didn't come to collect these, did they? All right, I'm gonna go yell at them up front. That's fine. We still have 5 minutes? Oh, it does? Okay, I think you have to go hand them up there. Yeah, I'll take maybe pass them to the left.
Okay, we'll make sure we get your questions answered.
Are we still live streaming though? Let me turn this off. Yeah, let me turn the live stream off.
Okay, well, let's just,
Oh yeah, can we have? Yeah, first off, if you guys let them get the lunch in. Go get your lunch things in. If you are a gold or above and you have a testimony that you want to share, can you come on stage and share your testimony of rising and vibing?
Anyone that is a gold affiliate or higher and you have a story, we would love to share it on the live stream. I think some of them ran with their food. Okay, so I'm going to share mine first. For those of you that don't know what happens when you take the rise, for me, the squirrel brain, any of you notice I'm a little bit all over the place. I could focus. I had a creative mind. I didn't get as emotional. I didn't snap. Any of you work in a cubicle where you want to like snap on the person next to you every day? How about your spouse? I have people that said, oh, my husband just did the entire honey-do list. He's so happy. He's not grumpy anymore. So there's a lot of side benefits to taking the rise as well. Sarah, do you want to share your story? Don't be so shy back there. So I met Sarah on a Zoom and she said, I don't think I can take your product. I'm allergic to mango and I'm not really sure about mushrooms. But here she is, drove quite a ways today. I'm going to let Sarah tell you what happened for her.
So I'm terrified to talk on the microphone, which is why I don't ever volunteer. But she's right. I'm allergic to mango. And she said, hold on. I'm going to send you some samples. They came in these little unlabeled baggies. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. But I'm 43 years old. And a couple years ago, I really started struggling with some hormonal issues. I tried everything. I went to a doctor, got some treatment for that. Some things got better, but brain fog was something that never went away. I'm used to being a very clear thinker, and I'm a very busy body, but brain fog made me a couch potato. And so I was searching for a couple of years to figure out how to get rid of it. I was a nurse for 11 years. I'm really into natural things. So I tried everything, but the day that I took Rise from the sketchy little baggie, I had the best day I'd had in years. And so what that meant for me was I cleaned the entire house, including the floors. Our house is 3,000 square feet, so that's not usually something that happens in the same day for me. I went for a 4-mile walk. I read a chapter in my book. I folded all the laundry for the first time in a long time. And I thought to myself, it can't be from that little baggie. Well, luckily Barb had sent me 2. So the next day I took the second one and I had an even better day. And so I knew at that moment that this was something that I was going to share with everybody that I knew naturally. I had been in direct sales before, and it's been 5 months and we have a pretty good team building, and we're on one of the fastest growing teams. So I drove 3.5 hours to be here and I'm so excited.
Thank you so much for sharing, Sarah. She was a skeptic. Anybody a skeptic? Man, you get a skeptic and you get them to try it. And then when she saw the comp plan, she's not skeptical anymore. Anyone else have a story they want to share? Come on up. This girl can sing too. I wish we were having karaoke. Boy, you hand her the mic. Sit down.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Debbie. So long story short, I was in a funk for a solid 6 months, maybe longer. And if I'm being honest, I saw my friend Lene online, and shout out to my friend Lene. I'd been in other direct sales industries or companies, and this one just popped. my friend Lene, I reached out to her. She was nice enough to message me back. And I'm like, what are you doing? Because I just wasn't myself. I honestly was, like I said, that funk. I was menopausal. I had no energy or motivation. And I don't even know why, because I have a great husband. And I was just not myself. I don't know how to say it. I just, without taking all your time, I could go on forever. I lost myself. And I'm like, all right, Lene, what is this? And she's like, you got to try it. They're all about family and you're going to love it. And I'm like, mm-hmm. And so I was I was hooked before I shouldn't say that, but I was like, sign me up before the products ever came. And I'm like, I'm in. And I waited for a while. And the company is amazing. They shipped out my stuff super quick. But I think there was a thing with my post office because I'm like, where's my stuff? And when I got it, I'm like, I'm just going to do it. I never did live videos. I did my live video. It was messy. I was all over the place. I took that drink of rye. I drank it so fast. And I'm like, this is so good. And because I was just ready. And my husband looked at me, and I kid you not, I was like, again, I'm no pro online, but I'm just like messy. I'm just like, let's try this stuff. Within 30 minutes, I'm like, okay, I keep hearing that. But within 30 minutes, I was like dancing. I really had the music. I was doing this silly reel. I don't know how to do reels. And I was like, I feel good. And I really did. My husband was on the back porch, and he was watching me, and I'm zooming around the house. It was a natural high, not those weird mushrooms. I wouldn't know. And I did more in 2 hours than I did in 2 days. And he came up to me, and I was smiling again. I liked my husband. I even liked myself. And we haven't even been married that long. But I just was, But this was seriously. And I just want to say thank you. Because he looked at me, and I don't want to sound cliche or whatever y'all are thinking. He said, I finally have my wife back. And I always get so emotional, but I felt good. And I'm like, I'm hooked. And that wasn't even the source. It wasn't even the little squidding stuff we call it. And I'm like, this is really good. And when I tell you I made that drink, I was like, and I'm like, you're like, oh, it tastes good. It was good. And I was smiling, and he goes, that's the girl that I married. And I was like, I was hooked. And I got him on it like a couple of days later, and he loves it too. He should be here with me. He's probably my silent affiliate. But I tell everybody, and this is the best place to be. And these products are so easy. And I just want to say thank you, because this is just amazing. I feel good. Thank you.
Everyone gets so emotional, but they all end with the same thing. I feel good. And I just think people want to feel good. My younger, the kids, I don't know what it is, but any of you have kids or grandkids between 20 and 30, and this whole heart racing, head racing, pounding, panic feeling that they experience almost every day. I never experienced that growing up. Like, there were days that I was sad, or maybe a boyfriend broke up with you, or, I got bullied a lot because I was red hair, freckle face, and not very cute, but girls were mean. But never was I like, I have a serious case of this like social anxiousness, or constantly feeling sad, not wanting to leave the house. But isolation and that feeling of less than is like a common thing with the younger generation. And the one thing that I find, all my nieces and nephews are on the rise. They prefer the mango flavor. We've had watermelon, we've had strawberry. I always think the young kids would want all the sweet, but everybody loves the mango. And we have more flavors coming. So if you don't like mango, just stay tuned. Stay tuned. There's other flavors. We'll just keep bringing out new flavors. Anyone else have a story they want to share before we break for lunch? Come on up. I want you to come up here because the live stream. This is my favorite part of the whole meeting, guys, because you don't know what they're going to say. You're going to get the truth. This is not me selling you.
Hello. Yeah, because I can't do this without her. Hello, Kelly Statema. I have spent 4 decades feeling not like myself. Menopause is mean. And this woman and Josie, their Facebook's changed. And I'm super nosy, just so you know. Super nosy. Why is your Facebook changed? Well, come to sushi with us. Anybody good for free dinner? And it wasn't the rise or the source. It wasn't what they talked about. It was the energy, and they felt good. And I wanted to feel good. We had made a cross-country move, and our cortisol had been high for so long, we didn't know how to feel good. And without you and sushi, we would not be in this
You
room.
should be up here.
Yes, you should. It really, our youngest is on the spectrum. She's been on this product for 90 days. She can finally control her emotions. She is 29. She's never been able to control her emotions. It has made a huge impact for our family. All right, your turn.
All right, I'm supposed to follow that. My name is Karen Cotton. I'm here because of Debbie. Debbie, back in March, had made a post on social media. What Debbie did not know is I was losing myself. I was losing myself very quickly. Had been struggling with mental health and just not feeling good. And so I had prayed for many, many, many months about an answer on what to do. I was with another company, and again, feeling like an imposter, like because I was losing myself, it was very hard for me to share. And so here, this woman's post pops up, March, the middle of March, and that was my God wink. I know. He sent me to Debbie. We had actually never met in person. We were just social media friends. We actually went to the same church, but never met. And so I reached out to Debbie, and Debbie knew that I was with another company. I'm like, hey, listen, tell me a little bit more about what are you doing? And I know that she was like, wait, you're asking me, what are you doing? Aren't you doing something? Yeah, I had been doing something for 6 years, but the last year had lost myself. And so to make a long story short, me and my husband had talked, and we're like, you know what? We're going to give it a try. Like, let's just try. What's the worst that can happen? Because right now, when mom or wife loses their self, that affects the entire family. And that's exactly what was happening. And so my products came, and on March 31st, I had my very first sip. And I remember messaging Debbie and Faith, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? 30 minutes, and like literally felt like I was coming back to life. Like in a nutshell, the brain fog had lifted. I was doing stuff. I was a couch potato prior to this, not because I wanted to be, but because I was just in such a funk, and my energy was draining. Fast forward, here we are, is praying what to do next, and it was very clear that this is exactly the door that the Lord had opened for us. And so here we are. There's no turning back. I'm so grateful for God's little nudges, and looking across this room, this God's doing so much, but this is just the very beginning. So thankful to be here. Thank you for everything, for your mission, your heart. This is just, such a special thing that we have going. So, and as you heard today, just so much more than a product. The product's changing everything. We're changing lives, but this is huge. All right, I'm going to pass it to you, Josie.
How am I going to beat that? So my name is Josie Musso, and I was introduced to the products on the company by Karen. Karen and I were actually in a previous business together, and back in December, I was taking the products and sharing, but then I realized something changed. I don't know if it was me, my body, the products weren't working anymore. But I stuck around and I continued on sharing, but it just didn't feel right sharing products and, the business when it wasn't working for me. And because Karen and I were such good friends, I just kind of stuck in there because of Karen. But back, I think it was in March as well. She had never told me though. I knew she was struggling because I know her very well, but I didn't know that she was looking for something else. She was praying for something else. But I had to tell her that it was time for me to back away. So we met for a breakfast. And I remember that day, I was like, it's the hardest thing for me to do, telling Karen that I'm no longer going to be her partner in business anymore. But I did. I had to. And and it was not only for Karen, but I had a team. And I was like, how am I going to tell my team that I'm not going to be there for them anymore? So anyway, we met for breakfast. And I'm like, Karen, there's something I have to tell you. And she had an idea, but I was like, I just can't do it with you anymore. Unfortunately, products aren't working. It's just not in my heart anymore. And I just can't share something that I don't believe in. So, and I wasn't feeling well. I was going back to my old way. Like you said, menopause, it is mean. So I was kind of like in the post-menopause at that point, and I could see the difference in my face, and I wasn't feeling well. But I also made a promise that I was never going to do this business again, period. I was going to find something, but never do this type of business again. So I shared with her, and then she goes and tells me, well, Jose, let me tell you what I started. And so she shared. I went back home. I told my husband about it, and he's like, give it a shot. So I went ahead, and it was a no-brainer to do the affiliate because of the fact that I got that the free straw, you know. If it's free, it's for me. So I went ahead and did that, and I wasn't going to share about it. As a matter of fact, the first week, I didn't make my own drink. My husband made the drink for me, right? And then he was leaving. He was going away for a few days. I'm like, wait, you're leaving? How do you make the drink? You know, because now I have to make it myself. So anyway, I made it. And while he was away, I was like, you know, this is crazy. I feel good. I don't know if it's the placebo effect, but I could literally walk into the garage and remember what I went into the garage to get, you know, for the first time. So anyhow, I sat there while my husband was away, Karen was away, and I'm sitting there. I don't know if I should share because I'll tell you the best restaurants, the best nail girl, the best hair. I will tell you, I share. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to get back into it again, but it was too good for me to keep it to myself. So I made this post, and it just, the snowball effect, like Marina said, I placed my first order on April 16th. 2 months later, I went platinum, and I'm sure they'll explain what platinum is. And last month on the 25th, I had surgery, and my business is basically running on its own, obviously with the help of my team. But this is a company that you could actually, not only the products are phenomenal, but the business itself, if you have to step back for a little bit, the team, the company, everyone, they help you. And my company has been, for the past month, as a platinum, and I haven't done hardly anything because of my surgery. So this is phenomenal. This is something that I've never been involved with. I mean, this amazing. And I'm so grateful that Karen told me about it. I'm so grateful for our sushi dinner and my team. I have like, I don't know, 10 people here, you know, and they're just a phenomenal crew. And I can't do it alone. And I have the best business partner right there, my husband. Yeah. So.
Amazing. Could you guys just listen to these stories all day long? So one of the things that she mentioned that Marina's going to train on this afternoon is the system that's in place. And, you know, when we talk about what happened for us in 2001, similar to Karen, when Dave lost his little brother, like I shared, the business kept going. And I hope none of you ever go through anything that you have to have surgery or grief or a loss. But the thing that I love about this business model is it's not about you. The day after you join, it's never about you again. Hasn't been about me since the day we started. Hasn't been about Marina since the day I met Marina. It's about each and every one of you and how we can help you build that perpetual money-making machine, if you will, or just a longer, healthier quality of life. We got some more stories.
Yeah. This is Daniela. You got this.
Aloha. I'm Daniela Monteanu Ituaru. And my story goes back like 6 years ago. I moved from America back to Romania after my parents had passed. I was alone in the country. My son lives about 2,000 away from me at the time. So I just felt alone. I moved to Romania and I was there during the pandemic. And then I had to return to America and I was alone again. So for the past 6 years, I moved 10 times. And 90 days ago, I quit my job, or sometime in July 19, because the job was requiring me to work different shifts during the night. And I really lost myself. I was sleep deprived. My brain was not functioning. My immunity has crashed. And I developed anxiety, agoraphobia, like I couldn't get out of the house, meet people, see anybody. And when I quit my job, it was the best decision ever made. After 3 weeks, I found out that I wasn't going to be hired. So my mental state was again collapsing. And then I remember somebody that introduced me to these two little lifesavers over here. I ordered it and I was waiting like a little child for a Christmas present. It came and I was like, you're going to save me. You're going to save me. I drank it and there was a veil, a fog that was clouding me and suffocating the life out of me. And I wasn't in a good place. I was really, really having weird thoughts. But I started taking them. And from my first day, I started to rise. The second day, I rose again and again. And by the 7th or 10th day, I made a decision to move again. 11 times. But I moved. I got a job. I am alive. I am joyful. I have joy in my heart. And I want to kiss them because I wake up and I have 61 or 62 days of lives on Facebook. They keeping me alive. Thank you so much. Aloha.
Hi, I'm Jack Gallagher, and we live in Sebastian, Florida, and we were introduced to some other products a while back with these two birds here, and about 3 months ago, we started taking all these products with my wife and I, and thank you, Anthony, too, and I'm 81, and I was diagnosed with some breathing problems, and I was on an inhaler twice a day for quite a while. And about, well, the first thing is when I started taking these products, I started getting more ambitious, and I'm ADD anyway, so I think my phone's ringing. Anyway, about a month ago, I stopped taking my inhaler 2 times a day, which is quite expensive, and I haven't had a breathing problem since. I do have shortness of breath, and I do have a rescue inhaler, if any of you know what that is. It's just a little squirt to keep you going. I don't even use that anymore. So I want to thank the Lord for sending these people into my life and my wife. And that's it.
That's it. You're gonna tell a joke like you did to me?
What?
He's so funny.
Such a good egg, she says. He ain't done yet. Oh, thank you. You know, a lot of times people don't realize inflammation is the main thing that causes people to get sick. And much like him, I used to have a breathing situation. And, you know, a lot of times you have something that you get as a diagnosis and you just lose hope, you know. But the reality is when you study frequency and getting your body in alignment, your body wants to get better. A lot of times you're just not deficient of a Tylenol or a Motrin or a glass of wine or whatever you think you have to do to feel a calmer, better, restful self. And so we do have a lot of products. We didn't talk about the sink. That's actually my favorite product. I used to never, ever sleep. And without it, I would not be standing here today. I'm a good 3 hour a night sleep girl and then I'm wide awake. But all of you that are guests, you're going to have that in your bag. So the sink is in this sexy little Slurpee. We all call it our bedtime bestie. I take it everywhere I go. And it tastes like a melted fruit roll-up. And some of you might say, well, why didn't you make it a drink? Because when you're 54, you don't want to drink before you go to bed. I wake up 3 times before I fall asleep to go to the bathroom just to make sure I don't have to get up and go to the bathroom. Because if I do, I ain't going back to sleep, right? When I even hear a coyote, we live in Kansas. So if a dog barks or a coyote or an owl or something, we're along the river, I'll be like, what was that sound? And then I'm like, good morning, even if it's 3 a.m. So the great thing about this product, it replaced 4 things that I used to take. And I'll just tell you, I always took CBD at night. CBN is a cannabinoid that puts you to sleep. GABA, I had never heard about. When you take melatonin to sleep, your body quits making it. It's the worst thing that you can do if you don't sleep. I didn't know that. Did it for like 25 years. Everybody trying to find their melatonin, stop that. The GABA is a natural thing that relaxes your brain so that you can actually rest. And even if I had our newborn granddaughter, I would still take this because you don't wake up groggy like you do when you take Benadryl, Motrin PM, Temazepam, Xanax, whatever people take so that they can calm down and sleep. This is just a natural relax you. You'll have great dreams. It also has collagen. Anybody looking for collagen? I don't know about you, but the older this skin gets, the less tight it is. And I don't have enough time to go get work done because I got to be live every day. Can you imagine if I showed up Monday and I had different face and bruises and my lips were big? Everybody would be like, what just happened to Barb? I just got to age gracefully, right? I don't have time to go get work done, and I don't want to put all the toxic things in my skin. But every time I look at my before and afters, did you see that picture of me and Marina? It's literally reversing my age. Magnesium. So this replaced 4 things that I took, which was about $350 a month in a subscription. And it's $99 for 4 supplements, and you can save 10% on subscription. So if people say to me, and everywhere I go, on every plane, every elevator, everywhere I go, people are tired, people are complaining about aging, everyone needs magnesium. We stuck that in there too. I don't know why we put 4 things in one. We could have sold 4 products and we could have made a lot more money as a company, but we combined 4 into one. And this is just the sleeping giant that nobody talks about. I think because we are in 12 countries and we can't ship the CBD products to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Germany. Callie's in Spain right now. You guys, we're going global as a company. So Rise, Vibe, and Reverse is the global message. But if you're in America or Puerto Rico or somewhere where you can get this, the sink is literally a staple in my life. Like I could not live without this. When I think about my breathing conditions that I don't have anymore, honestly, I had a son playing D1 football at Kansas State that quit football because they said I wouldn't live 4 years. My daughter was there in the emergency room when they were like, this is trapped air. For me, it always felt like I couldn't get enough. And no matter how much I breathed in, there wasn't enough room in there to breathe in. So I would wet my pants cheering at a K-State game. Because when you don't have enough air, what do? You cough. So I still to this day carry cough drops with me. It's just a habit because I never could breathe. But I will tell you that the secret that I have found, when your body doesn't get rest, you're a lot more susceptible to get all those things that wind you up in the hospital. And I'm not making a product claim. I'm just telling you, when I started sleeping, I quit coughing, getting the infections. I quit ending up in ER. I quit needing all the steroids, all the breathing treatments, because when your body rests, it gets well. And so I never go a day without this, because a girl that doesn't sleep is going to be overweight, cranky, puffy, sick, craving. I mean, I even think it helped me with my little Pillsbury Doughboy thing I had going on. And, you know, when you sleep, your body will burn the fat. So this is actually my favorite product. And many of you would think Brooklyn's favorite product is the Rise, but I want to tell you a little story about the Reverse. So when we created the Reverse, everybody's getting NAD injections, right? I didn't know what that was. I live in Russell, Kansas. Like, look that up. I have to drive 4 hours just to find an injector. So I didn't know what NAD was. Marina's like, everyone out here is getting it. I go to Phoenix where my son lives. Everybody out here is doing NAD. And I'm like, what is NAD? Like, what is NAD, right? But I knew we needed a hero product that would really create miracles in your body. And I had a chance to lock up a patented ingredient called AC11. Only if we would do enough volume that we could have that combined with the diazepam, which replaces what you would get from NAD injections. So you would think, oh, it would be like $5,000 a month for 30 days or maybe $2,500 a month, right? Because those treatments are a lot. Well, we have a patented ingredient called AC11. Just write that down and Google it when you get home. It's in the reverse and it repairs DNA. This is not a claim. This is a clinical study. It repairs DNA. It extends the telomere, which is a big word for me. But a telomere, when you think of your cells, if you make them longer, you give them more life. What happens if all your cells have more life and they're not dying? If all these cells under my eyes had more life and they weren't dying, I would have more time before I started to look like this, right? So what happened was my daughter started taking the reverse, Brooklyn, before her little sister's dream wedding in Mexico in July. Now imagine Brooklyn. She hasn't been around people. She hasn't been in crowds. She hasn't been on a plane. I remember during the election, we passed a bunch. This is a funny story. This is not political. But we were at the lake with Brooklyn. This is how long she had been out of the world. We passed a sign that said, "Let's go, Brandon." And she said, "Boy, your realtor's name's on signs all over here." She didn't have any idea who Brandon was. And me and Dave were laughing. We were like, is this a joke? She had no idea who was even running for president. She didn't even know what world she was living in. Yesterday, when Marina was driving me around in West Palm Beach, and we were looking at all the mansions, she's like, oh, Sylvester Stallone, Donald Trump. Like, you guys are out here where you are living a completely different life than this little girl in Kansas on 22 acres that hasn't left her bedroom for 5 years. For Brooklyn to get on a plane and to go and be in a crowd of people and family and see people for the first time was a lot. So she took a bottle of reverse to her room, and every day she took 2 capsules. And you got to understand, when you're that unhealthy and you've had Narcan twice and opiates and fentanyl and Xanax and whatever you can get to survive, Brooklyn's hair was breaking off, her skin didn't look good, her nails weren't growing. When you're ashamed, you definitely don't want to go see people, especially not stand up next to your beautiful, healthy sister. So we got to Mexico. Everybody, Brooklyn, your hair looks so pretty. Your skin looks so good. Kelly's friends hadn't seen Brooklyn since K-State cheer days 7 or 8 years ago. And you know what Brooklyn said to me? She goes, Mom, what you don't know, you tell everybody what Rise does for me. It's the reverse. She's like, when I take that product, I feel energy. I feel confident. I can tell a difference in everything throughout the day. She's like, I love that product. Now, this is a hero product. This is not a little $99 product. This is science-backed clinical studies, patented. No one else has this formula. But if you have people in your life that need to repair damage, you want to add this to your cart. Because repairing damage that you've done is not easy to do, but the clinical studies with the AC11 and what we're replacing NAD with is amazing in this product. So it's just 2 capsules a day, not hard to swallow, but Rise, Vibing, and Reversing is what everyone does. You get the free straw, and if you can, add the zinc, because if you get better sleep, you get great collagen. It's bovine collagen. It's not cheap collagen. You get that relaxing your brain so that you'll dream again. You'll have crazy dreams, and they'll be good dreams. But when you get a good restful night's sleep, think of like synchronizing everything in your body. And every product is tuned with those 11 harmonic frequencies. You'll see the medallion on the bottom. We also have a pet tag now. For any of you love your dog, you got to get them in alignment too. There's so many stories, but we're going to stick around all afternoon. I know some of you ordered lunch. Some of us will just go grab a quick snack. And then I want to just bring Marina back up one time. She's going to give you the details of how the afternoon is going to go. So Marina Simone, over 500,000 in volume in the first 90 days in the company. That's nothing to just, okay, let's hear it, guys. That's amazing. And when Marina and I were talking last night just about where this is going, the type of leaders that we're attracting, people that have literally been in the industry for decades, why they're coming to Frequence. You've heard about the products, you've heard about the comp plan, but really when I think about the culture, and Marina and I have both been top leaders, women, you think menopause is mean, you should be in business with a bunch of women. So, I mean, we have been there, done that. But when we sat there that day at the mastermind, the number one thing that I was thinking about is what has destroyed every empire that we've built. And I want you to know, whether you're here and you're with Marina's team or you came here from someone else, we're building a culture where people are going to stick. And I heard someone say, I just love it there. It feels like family. That's what we want it to feel like. So don't be afraid to stay here in the afternoon. It's going to be all about you. And Marina's going to tell you what's going to happen after lunch. Thank you so much, Marina.
You're welcome. I love you. So for those of you that ordered lunch, it'll be out there. They're going to have it like in there for those of you that ordered it. So you can go out there. They have your first name, last name, and the sheet that you did. For those of you that are like, I don't know what's coming at 1 o'clock. Should I stay? If you want to learn how we build this business, how we are multiplying this into income, and how you can invite your friends to Rise and Vibe, I suggest you stick around, because I'm going to be teaching you how to go gold. Barb's going to be teaching you how she's built her empire around building. And we were dream building yesterday. I mean, I took her to Palm Beach, by the way, over the bridge to Palm Beach. And I was driving her around the $120 million homes. That's where we were building our dream yesterday. So if you're looking to dream bigger, you're looking to build a big business, and you want to know how to do it, that's what we're going to be doing at 1 o'clock. So we're going to take a break from 12 to 1. And then for those of you that are on the live stream who purchased the virtual tickets, I will have a new live stream link for you. I will post it inside the Facebook group. If you are an affiliate of Frequence, that's where it will be. I'm going to make sure I give it to Sarah, Patty, Callie, all the Diamond chat. I'll make sure you have the right one. Okay? And we will see you guys when we come back. Okay.